Life cycles. Frogs. Here's our table of contents. It's all of the things that we're going to learn today about frogs. On page 4, we'll learn about what is a life cycle. Page 6 starts the topic of Meet the Frog. Page 9 starts a frog's life. Page 12, we'll learn about guess what? Starting to grow will start on page 14. From egg to frog starts on page 16. Life as an adult on page 18. Endings and beginnings on page 20. Can you guess on page 22? Important words on page 23. Websites also on page 23. And our index is on page 24. What is a life cycle? Frogs are living things. The world is made up of many kinds of life. People are alive. So are eagles, crickets, snakes, and pine trees. Here's our caption. It says, the first frogs lived more than 100 million years ago. Whoa! Every living thing has a life cycle. A life cycle is made up of many changes and processes during the life cycle. Living things are born, they grow, and they reproduce, and eventually they die. Different living things start life and grow up in unique ways. What do you know about the life cycle of frogs? Do you know about the life cycle? Do you know the different stages? Do you know the different ways that a frog looks when he's born, when he's a baby, when he's big? Let's see. Meet the frog. There are thousands of different species of frogs. Some of the most well-known species are the leopard frog, the bullfrog, and the tree frog. Our caption says, frogs have unique colors and markings. When people think of frogs, they imagine their bulging eyes, or they may picture their webbed feet and smooth, slimy feeling skin. But each frog species looks unique. They also live in different areas of the world. Frogs live all over the world, except in Antarctica. They don't spend their entire life cycle in one place. They live part of their lives in water and part on land. Oh, our caption. Frogs are amphibians. Amphibians live both in water and on land. Ooh. A frog's life cycle has 3 main stages. A frog begins life in an egg in the water. When the egg hatches, the frog is born as a tadpole. A tadpole has a fish-like body with a long tail. The tadpole's body grows and changes. In time, the tadpole grows legs, and its tail shrinks until it becomes part of its body. Once the tadpole grows legs and no longer has a tail, it's a frog. The young frog lives on land. There, it grows into an adult. Eventually, its life ends. Let's read our caption on these guys. Here are some tadpoles. They are also called pollywogs. Ah, so cute. So here's his head and his long tail, and eventually he's gonna grow some legs, and that tail's gonna pop right off, and he's gonna be a frog. So guess what? The only continent with no frogs is, do you remember? We read it earlier, Antarctica. And this is because it is too cold there. Some frogs have brightly patterned skin. Many of these colorful frogs are poisonous. So if you see a really colorful one, that one is more likely to be poisonous. Our caption says, brightly colored skin warns predators that a frog may be poisonous. Ah, very good. And also in our guess what section, the gold frog is the smallest frog species. Even as an adult, it is smaller than a dime. Oh my gosh, he's teeny. It measures less than 1/2 inch or 1 centimeter long. Oh my gosh. Frogs and toads look a lot alike. How can you tell them apart? Good question. Toads have drier skin than frogs. Most toads are covered with bumpy warts. while frogs have smooth skin, and toads have shorter legs than frogs. Oh, very interesting. Let's read our caption too. Toads would rather walk than hop. Oh, so if you see a frog, it might be hopping where a toad might be walking along. Now, I want to know what this is all about. It says starting to grow. Most male frogs make croaking noises during mating season. Male frogs enter water and croak to attract female frogs, and this way the females are able to find the males. Male frogs of many species have a vocal sac that makes their call louder. Oh, okay, so it's like a microphone. As the female lays eggs in the water, the male fertilizes them. The female may lay thousands of eggs at one time. Rah! This is important because many eggs will not live to be adult frogs. Oh, okay. Inside each fertilized egg, a tadpole forms. See the egg and those little dark spots are the tadpoles. What about from egg to frog? Depending on the species, a frog egg hatches in 3 to 25 days. Then a baby frog or tadpole comes out. This tadpole lives in water and it breathes through gills like a fish. Over several weeks, the tadpole gains strength. It grows back and front legs, and it grows lungs, to use instead of gills. How cool is that? After this happens, the tadpole is a frog, and it can live on land. This is because it can breathe air. Wow. When this young frog first hops onto land, it still has a tail. Weird. But soon the tail shrinks and becomes part of its body, and the young frog grows into an adult. Some frog species go from egg to frog in 12 days. Others can take years to become frogs. This green frog still has its tail. Have you ever seen a frog with a tail? You know he's probably a little younger one then. Life as an adult. Adult frogs spend much of their lives looking for food. Frogs also spend time reproducing and working to stay alive. Frogs are predators. They eat worms, snails, and even mice. No way. Frogs do not chew their food. Using their sticky tongue, they catch their prey and swallow it whole. Frogs use their eyes to help them swallow their food. Their eyes sink into their skull, pushing the food down their throats. Okay, that's way more than frogs than I needed to know. Frogs also have to watch out for other predators. They are the prey for snakes, birds, and alligators. Often, frogs can jump or hide from danger. Looks like this one didn't jump fast enough. Egrets, that's this bird right here, are one kind of bird that preys on frogs. Endings and beginnings. Adult frogs have different lifespans. Most live between 6 and 8 years in the wild, but some are eaten by predators. Others die when their body gets old. Here are poison dart frogs right here. They've got these black and white tops and these blue and black spotted legs. Very cool looking, but they're poison dart frogs. Remember what it said about bright colors and poison? Poison dart frogs live in warm, wet areas of South America. Death is the end of one frog's life because it is not the end of the species. Because frogs can reproduce, their species continues on. Every time a tadpole hatches from an egg, it helps create a new generation of frogs. This is the beginning of another life cycle. So, question and answer. Can you guess, how does a tree frog catch its prey? Do you remember? Do you know? Remember, think about those disgusting eyeballs that push the food down. How does he catch the prey? Fast, sticky tongue, that's right. What is the biggest frog? Oh, we didn't learn about this, but there he is. It's the Goliath frog. Adults are 12 inches. Some weigh as much as 7 pounds. Oh my gosh. The caption says, Goliath frogs do not make croaking sounds. This is because they do not have a vocal sac. Ugh, that is a big one. Here are our important words. Fertile means able to produce seeds, fruit, or young. Generation, a group that is living at the same time and is about the same age. Mate, to engage in an act that leads to reproduction. Predator, an animal that eats other animals. Process, a way of doing something. Reproduce, to produce offspring or children. Skull is the bony part of the head that protects the brain. Species, living things that are very much alike. Unique means different. And here's our index. If you had a question about anything, if you wanted to go back and learn about something, here are the pages that you could go ahead and find those on. Now that we've read about frogs, I want you to write 4 to 5 complete, nice professional third grade sentences about what were the 4 main parts about the frog's life cycle. Can you remember?